Good afternoon. What we got?
Coach, two questions. First one, the normal breakdown with the quarterbacks 1 and 2 is 90%, 10%. With Baker being a little banged up, is Trask getting a little more reps with the one just for a precautionary purpose?
Absolutely. We'd love to, make sure that he's prepared. You never know what could happen. Baker's been a warrior and battled through. So just got to make sure both guys are ready to play. Baker's there, kind of going through some of our, progressions, our big third down day today. So making sure he's ready. He was right there after every period, Baker and Kyle and I just going through the plan.
Coach, watching the Eagles, their pass rush has kind of vanished. But it's really more, when I look at the film, that quarterbacks are throwing on quick rhythm against them. Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, I think, I can't really speak to their, their production and their pass rush and all that, but I think it's always just a good plan. They have such a great front. It's always just a good plan to stay rhythmically, stay under that 3 second, which is, what we try to do. Sometimes we have to go for it, but, I think it's a smart way to attack this defense, especially with the amount of really good players they have up front.
This is week 2 of Baker dealing with that rib injury. I know he's got an ankle injury now, too, that he's dealing with. But just compared to last week, what have you been able to see from him? Do you think, as far as affecting his throwing and things like that?
I think it's a similar rhythm, just trying to make sure we get him back to as healthy as possible by game day. So it's a very similar rhythm to what we did last week.
And how much do you think last week's performance, because I know Carolina's defense probably doesn't get the credit it deserves, but
Right.
how much of the team not being able to produce scoring-wise
Yeah.
had to do with that rib injury versus just what Carolina was doing?
Yeah, let's first give credit where credit's due. EJ Evero, he's done a fantastic job against us. And just in general this year, if you look at some of their numbers defensively, he put a good unit together, really tough. That front seven is really tough to play against. They got great secondary players, and so they really presented some challenges to us. And of course, the first time we played them, we kind of, neither of us had a quarter of it, with the elements and all that. But they did a great job. They had a great plan. It was windy. That affected some of the things. I thought we had a chance for Mike on a big touchdown early on. Ball kind of got hung up a little bit. But, as far as the rest of it, we have to just be accountable to executing and throwing and catching, which we didn't do great last week. But we found a way to win, which I was excited about.
Dave, back in week 3, their defensive line, specifically their tackles,
Yeah.
really won against your interior
Yeah.
defensive line. What has to happen so that it is even more even, or you guys prevail in this game?
Yeah, I don't want to get into the specifics, the game plan really, but that's a fact, right? They're really stout inside, and they got good players behind the first group even there on their defensive front, so we have to be aware of that. We have to make concessions for it and try to attack them in different ways. Again, that was really early in the season, we kind of really grew and evolved into this offense that we are now. And now the plan is to just get back into our rhythm of our pass game. We've been kind of hit and miss the last couple weeks. Again, playing division opponents is rough. Both the Saints, whether it's the Saints, the Falcons, or the Panthers, they've done a fantastic job playing against us. So getting another chance to play the Eagles is something we're excited about with a different approach to how we play the game and what we've become over the course of the season.
He's in there too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Left guard instead of Philo this time, so it presents a little bit of a different look for them.
Yeah, could be.
Dave, on the whole, Baker's had a great year, right? 4,000 yards, career record touchdowns, all of that. It's undeniable. Having said that, especially even during this win streak, streak, you've had up and down, right? And I know it's not
Yeah.
one guy, but 48%.
Yeah.
Big drive against Atlanta, huge games against Green Bay and Jacksonville. In the last 2 weeks, maybe last week had something to do with injuries. But is this who he is, or do you think it'll level out if you're able to have him in a system more than 1 year?
I mean, it's a great question, and if you look at through the course of the season, we've had games like this where we kind of lost our rhythm and we found a way to work through it. So for me, it's just going right back to the basics and the details. The route depths, the timing of the throws, where's our eyes at on the progressions, and just continue to fine-tune those details to get 1 week better. So I'm really hoping that we can find that stride again this week, against an opponent who's going to see a little bit of a different flavor. Of course, they got all the film, to look at. But I'm believing that Baker is I'm pushing and striving for the highest version of what I have for Baker in my mind, and the things that he's capable of, taking us down, end of half, end of games type of thing. So I'm always going to go there, but at the same time, we have, just address some of the little technical details that just need to continue to be polished up this late in the season.
Dave, have you talked to Pete Carroll in the last couple of days, and what's the future hold for Pete Carroll?
I just sent him a text, just a whole lot of love, a lot of appreciation. Just gratitude, really, and I just wanted to send him some love in the situation, give him some time to, really process it all. I'm sure this is, it happened pretty quickly, and so I'm looking forward to have a chance to connect with him and, just kind of see where he's at and what he's looking forward in the future, but I don't have any information.
If he wants to coach, any doubt in your mind he'll be successful somewhere else?
No doubt in my mind. No doubt. He believes in himself, first and foremost. He puts a lot of trust and a lot of belief in his staff and his players, and I think that he could go and coach anywhere, at the highest level still. And just watching him from afar this year didn't seem like he's lost a step at all. So I'm really excited to see what happens here going forward for him, because if I know him, he's always competing. So he's always going to try to push the envelope for what the next thing is, so I'm excited to see that.
He's a young 72, right?
That's right.
Dave, Carolina has asked to interview you.
Yeah.
Has that occurred yet? And just your thoughts on, I've become an offensive coordinator, and now teams want to talk to me about being a head coach. How do you process that success?
Yeah, it is surreal to me, and I'm really grateful, because I honestly can't do this without the guys in this building, without the talent that we have on our offense, an amazing staff that's just worked their tail off to put ourselves in a situation to win the division. And so when I think about it, it's like, okay, well, the coordinator gets all the heat and you get all the praise. Well, it's really a bigger story than that, So I'm really grateful. It's something I've been thinking about for a really long time. So I have some stuff prepared, but I really haven't had time to look at that this week with, a formidable opponent like the Eagles that are coming in here. So it's going to require all of us, all of me, to really be locked in, and then we'll play Monday night and we'll take it from there. And at some point I'll have a conversation with them, and I'll be really excited and fired up to say the same things that we've been talking about here, about building and about building a team that plays championship type of football from the minute you get there. So
Against Carolina, there were a couple missed deep ball attempts, like to Trey, to Mike Evans. Those are shots, especially to Mike, that are typically made.
Yeah.
Just when you go back and look at the tape, why do you think those weren't completed?
a lot of factors. I think we talked about it. It was definitely windy. The wind was for sure a factor. Protection, there were some protection issues on a couple. And then at the end of the day, whatever the situation, whatever the conditions are, we just got to find a way to make those plays.
Now that you've had a year with Mike Evans, what have you learned about him that maybe the numbers or tape didn't show you guys?
I mean, he's got a lot of film out there. I think people have been watching him for a long time, and the best I can, sum it up is just this football IQ. That's unbelievable, and the way that he makes himself available in double coverage and triple coverage consistently, when they're pushing somebody back there to him, and he always finds a way to beat the leverage of the secondary, the leverage of maybe an inside backer trying to help out, and then just this, he's just an ultimate competitor. He's exactly what you want. He's the guy that whatever the stakes are, whatever the score is, he's still striving to be his best. He's still striving to score, to get open. You look at the last time we played the Eagles, we finally got something going late in the game, and, we hit Chris close down on the goal line, and the next thing you know, we're popping up a ball to Mike like he's been like, guys, I'm ready to go. I'll find a way to score. And so just for the whole game, just watching him battle, watching him continue to compete on every single down.
Philadelphia's secondary is quite bad ranking-wise, and their defense gives up some of the most points per game in the entire NFL. As an offensive coordinator, looking at that on film, how do you go into this knowing, like, hey, this is true, they don't statistically rate well, but they're in the playoffs for a reason, and they still play tough football?
Our focus is us. If we look at us for the last couple of weeks, we have not played to the standard that we've set for ourselves. We've had a couple of really, really good passing games mixed with the runs. So my focus goes right to us. And guys, we got to just get back to our rhythm. And if we can do that, and then it exposes some advantages in the secondary, then great. But it's not a focus on any particular person in their secondary or any of that. Really, the focus is on us. We watched a couple of weeks now. Like I said, let's find that rhythm. Let's call the plays that we know, in the right situations, and let our guys go execute.
Coach, on offense, what's the one box you have to check to win Monday night?
score more points than the other team.
How important is it to get off to a fast start? I know you're still looking for that first drive touchdown.
We got another shot, right?
Another shot. How important is it to get points on that first drive?
You love coming out, especially with our defense, just the aggressive style that we play with. You guys see it, it really can be like really a frenzy on defense. When they start finding the ball, we had a couple of games where they really get that momentum going, and I know that we're a big part of that. So I would love to get off right off the bat, be in our rhythm, mixing our plays like we do, so that we can put that ball in our defense's court where they can be aggressive and play the type of defense that we know they can, where, they've been really carrying us, for the last couple of games. So I'd love that.
How mindful do you have to be of Baker's injuries when you're calling plays, even last week when he was injured?
Yeah, we got to definitely, see what his mobility is like. We still got a couple of days left to kind of see how he moves around, and that definitely will play a factor, in terms of the types of plays that are called. In a perfect world, I'd like to say, all right, he gives me the thumbs up, he's good. It's just an open playbook, we can just call our offense. But I'll be aware of that as we go through it.
Getting too much into the weeds, have you noticed anything they're doing differently schematically since they changed play callers?
A couple of wrinkles. I don't want to get too much into it, but I respect Matt Patricia for sure, and just the history that he has, the breadth of defense, the understanding, the situational stuff, all those things are just like so second nature for him. So I have a really good challenge, in that regard.
Dave, the ankle in your mind is more of an issue than the ribs for you?
Both a concern, right? Both have been a concern. We've gone into games before Buffalo. We went into that with, just a little bit of a knee deal that happened there. So definitely in the back of my mind, but at the same time, we got to go. This is the only one we got. And so Baker wouldn't want it any other way. He's like, shoot, just call it, man. Just go for it. I'll make it happen. And he's handled these situations the right way with that aggressive mentality.
How did it look to you today? It looked like he was throwing with a little bit more zip today. Does he look better now than he did going into last week's game?
Definitely with the ribs, he looked better. I don't want to get too much into all that though.
Is this a game that you empty out the playbook? Like, there's nothing to play for, right? And you guys have been in that mentality the last couple of weeks is winner you go home.
Yeah.
But this is truly playoffs, winner go home. Do you empty out the playbook this week? Is there something you're pulling out that you kind of kept in reserve? Or?
I try to come out of every game having called our favorite plays, and so we'll go through it as a staff and with the players, and it's every game, and it all depends on the looks of the defense, right, and what we're trying to attack that'll make some of those things come to life. But definitely there's no holding back at this point. There's no setup for the following week, guys. Let's go, and hopefully I can take that approach again.
How much would you like to have another season with Baker Mayfield if it works out? What would that mean for the two of both of you? How much better?
I'd love to be in Tampa for a long time, and I know whatever our plans are for the future, Baker has been unbelievable, and for whatever job that I may get credited for, Baker, the belief in himself, his ability to really bring a team together, to grow, to continue to be, to own his growth, to own his mistakes. I just love that kind of guy, and I love being around him. So, I just kind of take every week that we get, and I can't miss today. Like this is way into January. This is a Thursday. These are the hardest practices of the week is this day, and I just can't lose sight of how cool it is to do life with these men, and as we all know in our profession, no team is ever the same from one year to the next. It hasn't happened for me in 14 years. There's changes that happen. There's hard decisions that have to happen all across the board. So from every single player on the offensive side to the guys that get to encounter on the defense, like I'm really just trying to cherish these moments, to be able to go to the playoffs 11 out of 14 years. I'm so fortunate, so lucky to be able to have that reality, and I'm really just trying to enjoy this week with the guys.
So much has been talked about with Baker, building camaraderie with teammates off the field, during the off-season, during camp. How have you seen that kind of translate into the on-field chemistry and the growth of your offense?
Well, it's just handling the highs and the lows. And I think when you have relationship, you weather those storms better when you got each other's back and there's no finger pointing and we're all pulling in the same direction. So that's where it goes. And then when you have those great moments, the celebrations are that much sweeter. They're that much more poignant, when the guys come together and they have this relationship to lean off of. So,
Like when second team was named second team All-Pro.
yeah, how about that?
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, first team, second team, whatever it is, the recognition is amazing. I think it just speaks to, again, a guy who's just competitive, who goes after it every single day, gives us an opportunity to win whenever we're out there, gives us something for the defense to draw their attention to so we can make other things come to life. And so I've been really blessed to have Mike as my first time calling plays, to know that this guy's going to make a play for us at some point, and to really give us a focal point of what we build. So it's been a blessing, and I'm really proud of him. I'm really proud of his accomplishment, and being recognized by everybody as one of the best players in the NFL.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all. See ya. Thank you.